Yo, what is up guys? Del Boy here, aka Blue Collar Sports TV. Hope you guys are doing well. So Dmitry Bivol comprehensively outboxes Lenin Castillo en route to a lopsided, unanimous decision. This was Dmitry Bivol's sixth defense of his WBA light heavyweight title, and he had it all his own way. Quite frankly, this was the typical Dmitry Bivol fight. Dmitry Bivol was up on his toes, sticking and moving, utilising that jab, and he was doing a good job of managing the distance. Bivol really kept Lenin Castillo at arm's length throughout this whole fight. The success Lenin Castillo had really was minimal, if I'm being honest, and that's being kind. Dmitry Bivol had this fight all his own way. He won every second of every round, and he rarely got caught. So, a whitewash for Dmitry Bivol. He won every single round. He also dropped Lenin Castillo in the sixth round with a nice right hand. Castillo beat the count though. He dusted himself off and he continued to fight, but with no avail. Bivol, after he knocked Castillo down, just continued to box behind that jab, not taking any risks. And yeah, he comprehensively outpointed Lenin Castillo. Now, the fight itself, there's really not too much to break down. As I mentioned, it was the typical Dmitry Bivol performance. If you've seen Dmitry Bivol fight a few times, you would know his style, and he stuck to that in this fight. And like I said, he won every single round. So make no mistake, this was a dominant performance from Dmitry Bivol. He dropped his opponents, he won every single round, and he barely got touched. So from that perspective, it was a good performance. From a boxing standpoint, from a technical boxing standpoint, it was a good performance. Suffered no damage, won every round, all good, all great. However, from a fan perspective and making new fans, this fight wouldn't have done Dmitry Bivol any favours. In recent fights, Dmitry Bivol is starting to get the tag of a boring fighter due to the way he fights. Now, for me personally, as a boxing fan, I like watching Dmitry Bivol fight. I like watching him move, I like the jab, I like the 1-2, I like his style. But I'm a boxing fan, for a casual, that sort of style's not always going to sell. That type of style is not going to turn heads. And to be honest, when you're fighting a guy like Lenin Castillo, who's not a top 10 contender, he's not a top 15 contender, he may not even be a top 20 contender, when you're fighting somebody like that, I think it's reasonable to expect a stoppage, or to expect the fighter to at least try to get the stoppage. But Dmitry Bivol never tried to force for the stoppage in this fight, and make no bones about it, that is disappointing. Like I said, I enjoy Dmitry Bivol's style of fighting. I like how he shuts down his opponents, but that style for me is acceptable when you're fighting top 10, top 15 contenders. Like his last few opponents, like Pascal, like Chilemba, like Joe Smith Jr., like Sullivan Barrera. When you're shutting these guys out, it's impressive over 12 rounds, but when you're fighting a lower level guy like Lenin Castillo, I don't think it's unreasonable to expect a stoppage and to expect somebody like Bivol to try to go through the gears to get this guy out of there. And that was a disappointing aspect of this performance. Like I said, I enjoy watching Bivol fight. I admire his technical ability. But when you're outboxing a guy like this, who's not a top 20 contender, it does get monotonous. Even as a guy who likes that style of fighting, it does get monotonous and it can get a little boring. So, Bivol really needs to put these guys away, in my opinion. Especially in terms of building a fan base. Because that fight wouldn't have done him any favours in terms of building a profile and strengthening his case to get a unification fight. Like I said, that fight last night wouldn't have done him any favours. But regardless, he got the win, which is the main thing. He retained his WBA light heavyweight title, and on to the next one. I do rate Dmitry Bivol very highly. I think the guy's a great boxer, but I really want to see him mix it with the elite guys in that division, the other champions, or even somebody like a Gilberto Ramirez would suffice. Guys like this, those are the fights I want to see from Dmitry Bivol, but being on the zone when all of these other guys are on ESPN, he may struggle to get those fights. So if he can't get those fights, I'm not really sure who Bivol should fight next, to be honest with you. Maybe Callum Johnson, maybe Jesse Hart, maybe Top Rank would be willing to let Jesse Hart fight his own. That could be a decent fight. But yeah, Dmitry Bivol's options right now aren't the most plentiful, put it that way. But yeah, we'll see where he goes next. Share your thoughts below. Peace.